Growing up, I didn't know that there was an actual occupation as choreographer. I grew up all my life dancing, socially, but never really put together the concept that the choreographer would get paid, whoever made up the dances. And so I went through like doing talent shows in junior high school and high school. And then I did my first audition for Michael Jackson, Remember the Time. That was my first audition professionally. And I saw the choreographer, Fatima Robinson, in the audition. I was like, oh, she's the one that gets paid to do the steps. And it all came together because in high school, the career day, it was lawyer, attorney, doctor, there was nothing as choreographer. So once I understood that there was an actual real position for a choreographer, that's when I really became interested in that.
The world's changing, boys. Howdy doody, Joe College, he's on the way out. The wild one, Marlon Brando, the Bluebirds. That's who's next. We got the cars, the bikes, the charts. Yeah, we're covered in grease. That's why we're so slick. We just gotta let them know it.
No more disrespecting, no more getting double decking. Better bet that I'll be checking every square I know. Teach the social lesson, might be Catholic as confession, but no more genuflecting.
I'm Jewish though.
Down with the phonies and up with the new cool. The T-Birds are ruling the new school. Down with the phonies and up with the new cool. The T-Birds are ruling the new school.
The new cool, yeah. The new cool, yeah. The new cool, yeah. The new cool.
Come on, someone tell me, why do all the pretty preppies run the school like Thomas Jefferson?
Cause their daddy's rich.
It's because their angles, no offense, with khaki pants, their mama's pressed.
Silver spoons and other fists. This BS gotta end.
Down with the phonies and up with the new cool. The T-Birds are ruling the new school. Down with the phonies and up with the new cool. The T-Birds are ruling the new school.
The new cool, yeah. The new cool, yeah.
Step Up. I did the movie, the first Step Up. Well, I did all of the Step Ups, but the first one with Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan. I choreographed that along with Ann Fletcher, the director. And that was the first time I really understood how impactful dance was in storytelling. I had just been away doing another film for 7 months in Toronto. And I was just getting back to LA and I was like, the sunshine, it was warm. I was like, oh goodness. And then I got a call and I was like, they were telling me that they were gonna have to shoot, out of the country. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know. But then I kept saying, but it is Greece. And Greece is the thing that really made me wanna dance. Seeing John Travolta dance was like magic for me. So I was like, this is really what made you want to do this. And so I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I wasn't too afraid of the fact that people were gonna think it was a remake. I was just more, concerned about shooting away from home. But that's what really made me want to do it, is that it was Greece. Gosh, I just have to say that Patricia Birch, who was the original choreographer, she was in my bones. Like, honestly, like I knew every step from the original, from Grease 2. And so I felt like when I was, coming up with material, there were the isms that Patricia would put into her choreography that I infused into my choreography. I wanted to pay homage to her, but also wanted to feel like it was fresh and new, because I didn't want the audience to feel like they were getting the same exact thing. So I think the swagger, the grease, I would call it grease it up, which means that it wasn't too perfect. It was all kind of, there was some people that might not get it exactly, which is okay because it had that grease energy to it. These are real kids dancing. So I was throughout. It was through the whole thing. Well, it was really important to our producer, our showrunner, Annabelle Oakes, and our director and producer, Alethea Jones, that we always keep our characters in mind and always fill the frame, right? So no matter where they are, what they're doing, I always wanted to make sure that their characters were involved, right? And so it wasn't like we were doing a chorus line where everybody had to look exactly alike. So, I mean, for me, it was all in the script, because whenever we start a musical number, that's where the story has to continue. It just because they stopped talking and they started singing doesn't mean that we just stop everything and everybody becomes one. We're still telling the story. And so that was what was important. And that's why I think everybody still has something to do, because their characters are still on a journey. Directing and choreography are kind of hand in hand, and how, especially the way I approach choreography, when I'm choreographing a piece, I'm thinking about wardrobe, I'm thinking about lighting, I'm thinking about story, all of this stuff. Even when I'm choreographing, when other directors are there, I'm still sending my previses where the shots where I think the cameras should be and how the camera should move. These are all suggestions. If they want to take them, fine. But if they, but I know as a somebody that's been in dance for a long time, shooting dance is different than just shooting a normal scene, right? We want to see the feet. We don't want to cut off the knees at the knees. People want to see what they're doing with their feet. So it's really important that I have a part in how these sequences were being shot. And so simultaneously, when I started directing, it all kind of fell in place, and it felt like this was the most natural place that I've ever been in my career, doing choreography and directing at the same time. I think I blocked this number out because it was so hard. It was A World Without Boys, and our visionary director, Alethea Jones, she came up with this idea that we're going to shoot the whole thing in reverse. So the dance is in reverse. And I can get with that. I'm good. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, I will design choreography that looks good in reverse, that matches some of the lyrics and still tells the story. I didn't really think about that they are lip syncing. So the lip syncing has to go forward while they're going backwards. So I ended up, and me and my team, Jeffrey Mortison and Louise Saratsky, we decided that we were going to actually choreograph backward moves and that they could lip sync while they're going. So that one was the hardest thing that I ever had to do, because just when we thought we figured out, it was like, no, this is not working. Literally to the day we shot, we were still trying to crack the code, and that was pretty difficult. We were up against so much because we shot in Vancouver for LA, which, as you know, the weather is totally different in Vancouver than it is in LA. So we were shooting some nights when it was raining. Grease is the word. It was freezing outside, but it's supposed to look like the end of summer, and everybody's supposed to be walking around. And meanwhile, we're all behind the cameras with like freezing. And really, I love to take care of my dancers and my performers, because coming from me being a dancer and a performer, I know what that feels like to almost, you could sprain your ankle, your muscles are tight, everything. So it's really kind of dangerous. So I just want to make sure that everybody was well taken care of, but being able to fight that challenge and really pull it off in a way where nobody really knew that it was like freezing was a big thing for me. So I think every time we would do a sequence where we were battling, whether it be time, whether it be weather, I felt like we were like warriors, and this is not easy to do 3 original musical numbers in every episode. It's very hard. And I just was so super proud of being able to pull those off time after time again. Some had previous experience, some had been in class, have been taking class, but have never danced on film before. Some had just never done anything, not anything, but to this level, no. So it was just, and we were meeting the first time, but like they came in January. We started shooting at the end of January. So we had to learn each other real quick. But the good news is that these amazing performers, all of them, I feel like are triple threats. They get it. They did, you know, like we didn't have to hide somebody. We didn't have to duck somebody under a car while, you know what I mean? Like everybody was doing it live and in real time. They just wanted it so bad. And I think that really shows what the human spirit, like when you want something, you can do it. And that's what they proved to me. I was like, these kids want it bad. Yeah, so right now I am getting ready to do another Disney animated film. I can't really say what it is, but it's something fun. And I always like to be able to come back to animation every now and then because it's all fantasy and fun and get to do crazy stuff. At the same time, I have some directing projects that I'm pursuing and, you know, hopefully we'll get off the ground in the next couple of months, weeks. And yeah, I honestly, like, directing is my next venture. Like I love it and I love storytelling. I like to tell stories about people that may not have had a chance to tell their stories, you know, back in the day. So I'm really interested in period pieces and representation of all people. Dance to me is like freedom. You know, when you meet dancers or people who love to dance, I think the sense of freedom and the sense of like the feeling of I don't care what anybody thinks is so attractive to other people who can't really let that go. You know, they're like, how do they feel so free? And I think it's contagious. And I think when, you know, I've seen people just bust out and dance without any kind of understanding of the music, they just start moving. But that's because they just felt free. And I think that is like dance is freedom. It connects us in ways that words can't. So I think body movement is amazing. And I think that dance, yeah, like I said, it's just freedom to me.